The first person that comes to mind is my grandmother, who immigrated to this country from what now is the Czech Republic. And she came when she was 16 years old with her aunt, who was not much older than she. And she had a trunk with all her earthly possessions on her back that she carried for 5 hours to walk from her little village to the train station. And then came from that small village to Bremen in northern Germany, and took a ship across, came through Ellis Island. Didn't have to change her name as many people did, and although it was kind of complicated from an American perspective. And she had a little piece of paper that said Perry, Oklahoma on it, and that was where she was headed on the train, because there was a family that she was going to live with, and she didn't know any English. I don't know how you get through Ellis Island just like that, but I guess everybody was in that situation. Didn't know any English, and so just was watching, had this little slip of paper, and when the train came through Peoria, Illinois, she was matching up P and E and R, but the conductor somehow told her to stay on a little while longer, and she did get to Perry, Oklahoma eventually. So that's a wonderful memory that I have. If I can mention a second person, this is much later in my life, a woman by the name of Dr. Shirley Chater, who at one time was the Commissioner of Social Security under the Clinton administration. But when I knew her, she was president of Texas Women's University, and was just a wonderful, wonderful mentor to me in the higher education field. So thanks for asking.
Oh, that's easy. That would be my mother. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And why?
Why? Because I grew up in a musical family up in Green Top, Missouri, and influential in that she not only taught me the normal things that you do, like cooking and cleaning and all that sort of thing, but growing up in a musical family, we were a very intense life of music, and they would pick me up from school, we played till dinner, and after dinner friends came over and we played till bedtime. So it was this life of music and traveling the world, and so I've experienced so many things with her growing up and continue. She just traveled, we just went to Europe for 19 days, and she's just a wonderful influence, and I'm thankful for her.
I would say it's my mom. My mom started out as a very young mother and had 4 of us. She ended up being a single mother. My father was killed in Vietnam, and so at the age of 11, my mother really had to manage the house. She managed to go back to school and get a degree in nursing. She just proved to me as a young woman that we can do anything we want. We just have to have drive and ambition, and I thank my mother for that.
I would say the most influential woman in my life would be my grandmother.
Yes, I know.
She was a wonderful woman and really helped me learn how to read when I was a little girl. And I really think that early reading skills and reading skills in life help business people be better business people. One of the things she also taught me was a love of cooking, and I today have 2 food businesses. And I really think it was my grandmother's influence that probably guided me down that path.
I'm very fortunate to have a lot of women influence me in my life. And when I think about my professional life, however, Ann Covington is the first name that comes to my mind. She was the first woman to serve on the Supreme Court of the state of Missouri. And she was our role model. She was like our godmother. She broke the ice and some of the barriers down for women like me to follow her to serve as judges on various courts throughout our state of Missouri.
Well, I'm like many women in that my mother was definitely the woman who was the most influential in my life. Not only helping teach me how to be a good parent, but she was a pioneer in terms of breaking out of the box and doing things that were beyond what would typically be appropriate or suitable for women, and she wasn't afraid to take risks or to go her own way, and she encouraged me to get out of my comfort zone and do that as well. And it's one of the reasons that I've been able to have a successful global agricultural career, as well as I think at least to date be a good mother, great wife, and own our own business, and cook on a lot of burners and do it my way.
The question of what woman has influenced me the most is a difficult one to answer because in truth I've been fortunate to have had several women influence my life. Of course, to start with is my own mother, a very strong-willed woman who raised 4 children as a single mom. All 4 of us are encouraged to chase our dreams and not be limited because of any preconceived boxes that we're supposed to fit into, and I credit Mom with putting us in that category. My second influence would have to be a number of teachers that I've had through my life, and there's too many to mention, but one that stands out is Dr. Candy Young, who is a teacher of political science at Truman State University. Again, a woman that taught me to question, evaluate, find further information than what is just specifically presented to me before coming to conclusions about life or opportunities or unknowns. And then the third and probably most well-known person who has had a tremendous impact on my life is Hillary Rodham Clinton. I've had the occasion to know and work with her in various capacities over the last 20 years. And I have to say that she is indefatigable. And every morning when I wake up and I think, boy, I've got to travel 5 miles across the state of Missouri today, I see the Secretary of State who is getting off of a plane in Libya or somewhere in Eastern Europe or other locations, and I think she's still going after all these years and all the trials and tribulations that she's been through. I can certainly get up and make a go of the day too.
My mother was an early advocate for women's athletics. She was the director of women's athletics and the winningest tennis coach in the state of Missouri. From 1982 to 1990, she won 8 years in a row with Lincoln University. So, and she was just a wonderful role model, always had positive things to say about people, and her biggest accomplishment was that all of her tennis players received their college degrees. So over those 8 years, she never lost any.
The woman that was probably the most influential in my life was my mother, because I work in the natural resources field, and she was a biology and science teacher, so she taught me a lot about conservation and natural resources before I ever went to college. But another woman in my college career that had a huge influence on me and still does today is Dr. Susan Flotter of the University of Missouri, who is a well-known researcher and also historian and very knowledgeable on natural resource policy in Missouri, particularly forest policy. And I admire her for her leadership and her courageous effort to ensure healthy and sustainable forests for Missouri.